Hey everybody, welcome back to today's show, a Training Thursday episode that I'm excited to get into. You know, I love reading about all of these new and exciting research-based studies. Some of it is just simply reiterating what we've always known, or at least have thought to have known, but it's saying it in a little bit different of a type of way. But oftentimes a study like this really begins to challenge what we understand about human movement and how it leads to robust wellness, health, and longevity. Because a new study just came out not too long ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, that was titled The Association of Sitting Time with Mortality in Cardiovascular Events. Now, I talked about this very specifically on, I believe it was last Friday's Friday Review podcast. But it's extremely important because if you didn't listen to today's show, I want to go over all the different reasons why this study is true. And this is, again, crucial because here's what the study said in a nutshell. And again, I hope that this is very, very helpful just to kind of sum up this big study, because it was about 105,000 participants. It was in 21 different countries. It was a large scale study, and it showed that those people who sit between 6 to 8 hours a day have a 13% higher risk of heart disease and early death. The risk increased to 20% for those who sat more than 8 hours per day. And this is, again, this is a growing body of evidence and research that shows us that it is not just about working out for 45 minutes a day. It is great to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. That is phenomenal for your health. But the study actually goes on to show, hey, the people that we call weekend warriors, meaning like they don't do anything Monday through Friday, and they really try to knock it out of the park on Saturday and Sunday, they're at not just as much risk, but honestly, pretty close to it. And it's because it's the sum of all of your days and not just one or two good days. Now, I talk about this all the time with nutrition. A lot of the people, believe it or not, are with the weight gain crew. Like the people who come to me and say, hey, I want to be able to gain muscle, to put on weight. What does it need? Well, I just say to them, listen, I know that 3-4 days a week you feel like you're eating all this food, like you're overeating. But what happens is we basically greatly attribute it to a meal or two during the day and not looking at the sum of the entire week. What does your exercise look like? Are you overtraining? Are you training every other day, allowing for recuperation between? Are you getting in the amount of calories that you need? Are you getting enough good quality, liquid, easy to digest calories that are easy for your body to uptake? We go through all these specific things. But now really when we're looking at longevity, and one of the reasons why I'm going to go through this and just share with you basically 9 reasons why sitting, or not 9, but 7 reasons why sitting leads to greater risk for early death, is because when I'm talking about longevity and anti-aging, it's not one thing. So if you were to say to me, oh, what's the longevity diet? Well, I could certainly share with you what we know for the diet plan that's going to give you the best odds for living the longest life possible. And I can do the same with nutritional supplements. Again, a new study just came out. I'll share that study with you as well. But it shows even just a simple multivitamin staved off Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and other issues as well. But again, I'll share that. But what it comes back to is the tenets for long life. And that really goes back to, again, the de-stress protocol I've been using in my practice now for well over a decade. So it's diet, it's exercise, it's stress reduction, it's toxin removal, it's rest, it's emotional balance, it is scientifically backed supplements, and it's success mindset. All of that's needed, right? But we overlook the human movement part of it. And the reason is that it's too easy. It's too easy to overlook it. We can get basically everything done in our life by sitting behind a phone or your computer or driving in our car. Very little human movement needs to take place. And the problem is it's greatly detrimental to our overall health. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Back in the day, until maybe like 20, I'm trying to think how old I was, around 27, 28 years old, I didn't sit for 6 to 8 hours a day. I was on my feet, teaching exercise, fitness videos, personal training, nutrition. Yes, I was at a desk, but I was up. But after that, no, for sure, I definitely sit more than 6 hours a day. I'm recording video, I'm doing Zoom with my team, I'm talking with people online, like for sure I'm doing that. So what do I need to do? Well, to combat that, it really comes down to saying, how often are you getting up? It's a big part of it. So for me, I make sure that I'm walking, moving 3 main times per day, okay? And that's besides my workout. So I'm walking in the morning, okay? So I'm taking my dog for a walk, I'm walking. After lunch, I am walking this time without my dog because I need to make sure I can get in more steps. And he's a little French bulldog. He's old. He can't walk the level that I want to be able to walk. And then I'm doing my workout mid-afternoon. Then at night before bed, or not necessarily before bed, but close to it, I'm walking my dog again. And that's a longer walk, tire him out a little bit so we can all get a better night's sleep throughout the night. But what I'm doing is I'm actively creating my 10,000 steps per day. I'm basically anchoring it 3 times per day. Now, you could do yours at work, you could do yours however you're looking at it. I just feel that that number is absolutely crucial. And it's not going to go down. And because I've shared previous studies that showed if you get 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day, it dramatically enhances overall quality of life. That means how healthy you are, and it decreases all-cause mortality. It's basically the same thing as this study says, but in reverse. So you need to get in. Again, if you are getting in 7,000 and 10,000 steps per day, I know it seems like nothing. I understand that. I say to myself all the time, like, and I share this too with tips with clients. Like, I'm asking you about the most high-level, technologically advanced biohacking things that I can do, and you're telling me to walk? You're telling me to walk? Is that like they're joking around with me? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, believe it or not, if you could choose between a cold plunge or I don't know about sauna, but I would say even say sauna. I would say walk your 7,000 and 10,000 steps first. Then sauna, yes. So again, there's a hierarchy to these things. Moving your body is so important. Let me share with you why. Again, I would say this, that it's not one reason. One of the main reasons, though, is insulin resistance. So let's look at this. One of the reasons why I try to do my walk after my meal is it's called postprandial. If you ever hear that word, it basically just looks at your glucose, your blood sugar spike after you eat food. That's basically it. I don't care if you're eating carbs or protein or fat or all 3 at a meal. Let's kind of throw that out the window for a second. Let's just say, how great would it be in order to improve digestion and also not allow your blood sugar glucose level to spike as high after a meal? If you could do that, well, that would certainly be healthy for your overall health and wellness. And again, if you keep yourself healthy today, and then tomorrow when you wake up and you keep yourself healthy for that day, and you continue to do that, well, that's how you live a long, healthy life. Right? We can't do things 10 years from now that's going to help us live to 100. Let's do the things today that we can do, believe it or not, simple things. If you've been listening to Cabral Concept for any length of time, I really don't even ask. I really don't, because I know how busy your life is. I am not going to ask you to do complicated things. I'm not. I'm not going to ask you to spend a lot of time doing all health-related things because I know you're busy. Family, relationships, taking care of maybe parents or children. You've got your job. You've got a lot of other things to worry about. But what I do need from you is natural human movement, eating good quality, healthy foods, just 3 meals a day. Like, we'll keep it simple, right? Taking just a couple good quality nutritional supplements. Pick your favorite functional medicine-based brand, and then doing, if you have extra time, a couple more of these longevity-based things, couple strength training workouts, couple saunas a week. Like if you do those things, well, now you're at the next level. But we have to start just with the basics. So insulin sensitivity. Again, why do I care about you keeping your insulin balanced? Because one of the top 4 causes of mortality is diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which leads to all sorts of things like metabolic syndrome. All right, so that's one. All right, balance your blood sugar. If you can walk after a meal, especially dinner, that's the most important one, or your largest meal of the day, walk after that one. The second is this. Okay, the second basically the first, and we'll call it second causes for mortality, heart disease, right? So cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure, stroke. Okay. All of it has to do with the vascular nature of your body. All right, let me just show you my buddy Walter, if you're watching this on video. Look at these arteries flowing up to the brain and into the heart. If I remove my buddy Walter's lungs you're going to see his heart, right? You'll see the veins and the arteries. That's very important, right? If those start to become occluded or blocked, not good, right? But also think about it like this. If you are seated all day, there's very little pump action. You're not getting that circulation moving to the greatest degree possible. You are working on an automatic pump from the heart, which luckily it does that without us thinking about it. But when you go for a walk or you do a little bit of cardio, you force more of a manual based pump. You make your heart and lungs work harder, but you're also contracting and squeezing, and that allows that lymphatic system to move. So again, getting up on your feet for blood pressure, phenomenal, because it moves a muscle in the lower body, the calf, called the gastrocnemius. And when that happens with what's called plantar and dorsiflexion, you don't need to know what this means, but basically when you push off of the ground, you actually create a manual pump to move the fluid back up to the heart. This is a really positive thing for your heart. Now, it's not the same, but even under your desk, if you're seated, point your toes, pull your toes back towards your kneecaps. Point your toes, pull them back. That's basically pumping the calves. It works. Not the same as walking, but it works. And so we have to understand is that heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, that's the other part of metabolic syndrome. So again, if we can help you through human movement to improve your heart, your lungs, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, you're so far ahead of the game. All right. So those are the main cause of mortality, but there's one more, and that's cancer. Well, here's one more. This is a great study right here, and I'll try to link this up for you as well. Why don't I do that? I'll link it up. So all the studies right now are going to be at stephencabral.com/2428, along with the 3 big takeaways for today if you want to go over there. All right. So this study, impressive in its own right, is from the Journal of the National Cancer Institute. Sedentary behavior increases the risk of certain cancers. So again, I'll link this up for you. But this is the bottom line. 24% higher risk for colon cancer, 32% higher risk for endometrial cancer, 21% greater risk for lung cancer. Just by being seated, just by not moving your body. And then overall, if you're just sitting down, looking at your phone all day, looking at a computer, watching TV, a 54% higher likelihood of colon cancer and a 66% greater chance of endometrial cancer. I mean, it's unbelievable. And here's the thing. Even if you are that weekend warrior that I spoke about, the chances are basically the same. Because it's not just about one 45-minute workout. It's about getting your body more active throughout the day. And this really brings me back to a lot of, hopefully it's the right pronunciation. I've only read the book, 50 times. Dan Buettner's book, the Blue Zones. A lot of people are like, trying to dismiss it, but it's not. It's not about one thing. But when you look at these people, they were active all throughout the day. No formal workouts. Now, again, were they in great shape? Well, I mean, that's subjective, right? That's really subjective. But they maintained a healthy weight, and they were active most of the day. And there seemed to be, with the longest lived people, hills. They lived on steep inclines. So they were getting actually that extra cardiovascular work. And another point of mine on today's show is osteoporosis. Now, osteoporosis is an important one. So basically overall bone health that you're not going to get if you're seated all day, that can lead to earlier mortality. And one of the reasons is fall prevention. One of the leading causes that send people into a downward spiral that eventually leads to an earlier death is breaking their hip. One of the biggest things of older people, when they fall, bones are brittle, they break their hip, they have to go into a physical therapy, nursing home type place, and they never leave. And it leads to then greater degrees of depression and so much more. So that's another thing we have to look at. Yes, walking helps with that. On an incline, believe it or not, that is going to stave off osteoporosis better than walking on a flat surface. Now, you don't have to walk inclines up, but you don't have to walk up a hill to and from work, right? You can just have that as part of maybe your overall routine, and I think that's a really big part of it. Just a couple more points. This is so vitally important with staving off Alzheimer's disease, right? So if a lot of people are worried about Alzheimer's, I've done many, many shows on Alzheimer's. I'll try to link up the series today at stephencabral.com/2428. But I will share with you this, and I think that this is, again, extremely important to keep in mind, is that essentially we call Alzheimer's dementia type 3 diabetes. All right, so that means that there's definitely an inflammation component. There is a glucose, blood sugar component. Now, there are others. Cortisol can be a factor, et cetera. But part of the issue is that if there is not proper circulation, if there's a higher level of inflammation from us not moving our body, there's going to be a greater likelihood of dementia and Alzheimer's. And so I would really just, again, implore you to begin to look at moving the body, not as just something that, oh, improves the physique or whatever it might be, but it actually decreases all-cause mortality. So hopefully today's show was helpful. I would love for you to check out the studies. I think they're really, I think it's wildly important. The reason is that it shows that just working out on the weekends or 2-3 days a week is not going to be the ultimate thing. It's going to be, yes, that is going to give you a stronger, more robust mitochondria, without a doubt. But it's the daily active movement that you build up each and every day that ultimately leads to the lowest causes of mortality and the highest chance for basically removing all of those top causes of an early death. So hopefully today's show was helpful. All the links are at stephencabral.com/2428. And as always, if this show was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care.